Okay, so far we came through the strike zone protected. We sent him on a nice trip, and we teamed up with one of our best friends, Gravity, and made it a 2-on-1 situation by taking the top cross side pin. This is a good spot, but we're not as safe as we can be, so we're going to advance to this position known as the full mount. The best times to move here are when they are completely exhausted from your side control, or once you know that your mount skills are better than your side control skills. We don't want to make it easy for them to throw us off, so we call this lesson the green light, so we know when to go. We'll see how to protect ourselves while we exhaust them, but for now we'll start in the cross side and see a couple examples of how to advance to mount. While trying to stay low, we can slide one knee across their hips until it reaches the other side, and then collect the wrists for good habits. Remember, we can give ourselves the green light when they're exhausted or we have confidence in our mount skills. If we want to get there before they're exhausted, a safer way is to inch your way there little by little. This comes in handy when they're still strong and we can get back to side control if we need it at any time. The activities in the upcoming videos will really help you know when to give yourself the green light. Once you've had experience with the skill building activities and the snake charming we have later on in this course, then you can do it this way, which happens to be my favorite. You just switch your legs facing their legs, step over them as if there's a bug on the other side of their hip, and then take your position. Again, collecting those wrists for habits we'll see soon. This video is all about mission 2, which is to get their chest straight down to the floor, which makes them even less of a threat. The two most common things that people will do under your mount is try to push you off of them or turn over so they can get up. If we happen to stay with them when they turn over like this, we're in a dangerous spot because they can get up with a lot of power and dump us over their shoulders and head, possibly landing on our face or folding our neck back. But we can be ready for them and take what we call a belly down mount, which is a very safe position for us to be in. They can't strike us from here, pick us up and slam us. They can't even spit on us. Of course, we're going to see what it takes to keep their chest down, and they're pretty much harmless already in the belly down mount, but we'll put them into full harmless mode. When we're new to this, our partner can turn over for us and we let them and try to stay on top. We want to stay as heavy as possible as they get up, unless they're just not strong enough and need our help. But we want to stay glued to their back and back up with them. It's hard to see, but the balls of my feet are touching the floor, and I'm trying to stay as short as possible, shorter than her. Once my feet are in between her knees, I grab under both of her arms and turn myself into a walrus. I'm pushing my hip forward and trying to sit up as much as possible. As I keep arching my back, trying to mimic the heaviest walrus I can, I free my arms and I can put my hands on her back or grab her clothing for handles. The only way somebody can turn all the way over on their stomach is by crossing an arm first. We can always encourage this turn by crossing their arm for them and adding some weight. Ready for them to get up, follow them back, and here's a different version. Instead of just clasping your hands underneath them or underneath their arms, you can always grab their forearms like this. Again, the walrus, hips forward, head up, freeing the hands, deciding how you want to control. The next videos show us what to do when missions fail, and also how to exhaust them so they shouldn't be very strong when they're trying to fight this position. But whether they're weak or still strong, there's an awesome way to make them turn over and get your belly down mount. This isn't typically a beginner lesson, but I needed to throw this in there because it's the coolest thing I've ever learned in almost 4 decades of martial arts. There's several steps, but just use those scrolling tools and give yourself the goal of memorizing this. I pause slightly between each step. You can do the first step a few times and then add the second step, then do the first one and the second one a few times, then add the third one, but keep starting from the beginning and you'll have it memorized in no time. Once you have it memorized, you'll be surprised how well it works against somebody resisting. And this is what we call the harmless mode. It could end here if there are kids involved, or you could put a finish on it like a blood choke. In our follow-up course, the Judge and Jury Jiu-Jitsu, the SAP, NAP, SNAP formula, we see what to do if we're in a really bad situation, like an abduction or something where there's still a threat after they wake up. When performing a blood choke, you want their chin to line up with your elbow so that your upper and lower arms are pinching the carotid arteries. With about 6 to 15 seconds of squeezing, the blood pressure in their brain changes enough and puts them to sleep. They will wake up in about 10-15 seconds and still be a little groggy for about 10 more. If you're having fun with your partner, of course, let them tap out whenever they want and release immediately. If your forearm is under their chin instead of your elbow, it then becomes an air choke. In a real situation, you can always check to see if they're asleep by lifting an arm, seeing if it falls naturally, or covering their mouth and nose to see if there's a reaction before you let go.